There is a terrifying truth about the toxic relationships you keep, a truth so simple, so painfully obvious, that your mind has built an intricate fortress of rationalizations to deny it. We are not speaking of the dramatic, obvious forms of toxicity, the constant conflict, the loud battles, the overt sabotage. Those are mere symptoms, the visible foam upon a far deeper, more insidious ocean of rot. The real poison lies in the quiet, unspoken agreement that many people enter into, the complicity of mediocrity. You believe this person, this environment, this circle of friends is holding you back. You cling to the comforting narrative of being a victim of external forces, convinced that if only they would change, your life would finally begin. This is the lie, the fundamental betrayal of self-sovereignty. The agonizing paradox is this: you are not a victim of their toxicity. You are a willing accomplice to your own inaction. You have subconsciously selected a relationship that is just small enough, just demanding enough of your emotional energy to perfectly contain the terrifying, explosive potential within you. It is a golden cage, built not by the jailer, but by the prisoner who fears the sheer, desolate expanse of freedom. You remain here because the sheer weight of your own potential, the obligation of becoming the person you know you could be, is a terrifying burden you refuse to carry. The relationship provides the perfect, continuous alibi for your failure to launch. It is a constant, renewable source of external blame, a comfortable hell where you are perpetually right and perpetually stuck. This is the betrayal of comfort. The relationship protects you, not from the world, but from the terrifying, necessary act of your own growth. And it is a treason you commit against your future self every single day. The moment you choose to transcend, the moment you commit to the relentless pursuit of your highest self, is the moment the external chains, the toxic relationships, will either shatter or fall away because they can no longer bear the magnificent, unbearable gravity of your true presence. This is the first bitter pill of radical self-ownership you must swallow. The noise of external drama is simply the cheapest form of anesthetic for your deepest existential pain, the pain of a life half lived. The moment we stop fighting the person, we must start fighting the person in the mirror. Let's begin with the philosophical concept of autonomy. To be autonomous means to be self-governing, to live by laws you give yourself. In a toxic dynamic, this is systematically stripped away. Your thoughts, your feelings, your very perception of reality are constantly questioned, invalidated, or outright denied. This is often masked by phrases like, "I'm just worried about you," or "You're being too sensitive." The goal? To make you doubt your inner compass, to make you dependent on their version of truth. The growth philosopher understands the crucial difference between healthy interdependence and toxic enmeshment. Interdependence means two whole individuals choosing to share their lives, each retaining their sovereignty. Enmeshment means two people so entangled that individual identities dissolve, with one often dominating the other. This parasitic dynamic ensures your autonomy withers, replaced by a desperate need for their approval. This isn't love, it's control dressed in compassion. You are not a partner. You are an extension, a reflection, a utility. This is the first bitter pill, recognizing you've given up your crown. Friedrich Nietzsche posed a philosophical challenge. If you were forced to live your life over and over exactly as it is, would you embrace it? Amor fati? Or collapse under the burden? The answer to this existential question is directly mirrored in the relationships you maintain. The toxic relationship is often an expression of a deeper fear of the future. The possibility of becoming a self-directed, sovereign individual unburdened by the familiar chaos is simply too much responsibility. Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, the self-overcoming individual, demands that you leave the herd, that you accept the glorious, terrible burden of creating your own values. This choice automatically brings about the loneliness of performance. When you choose to step onto a path of relentless self-improvement, you will find that fewer and fewer people can walk beside you. You will become a disturbing mirror to those who remain committed to the comfortable fiction of mediocrity. Your silence, your focus, your clear boundaries, these will be perceived not as self-improvement, but as a judgment, a betrayal, or a threat. This is the heavy price of autonomy. You must consciously choose to sacrifice the warmth of uncritical, stagnant companionship for the cold, exhilarating air of sovereign self-direction. The relationship, in its current form, functions as an antidepressant for existential anxiety, protecting you from the obligation to become the author of your own life. The highest love you can offer another human being is to become your most fully realized self, even if that self must ultimately walk a different, lonelier road than the one you are currently sharing. Consider also the emotional blackmail. This manifests as, if you really loved me, you would, or I'll just die without you. This weaponizes your empathy and loyalty, turning your noblest feelings against you. Your attempts to assert boundaries are met with threats of self-harm, dramatic accusations of abandonment, or withdrawal of affection. It's a constant, suffocating pressure to prioritize their emotional state over your own well-being. This is a profound violation of respect for persons. Posited that we should treat humanity, whether in ourselves or in others, always as an end and never merely as a means. Emotional blackmail treats you as a means to regulate their emotions, to fulfill their needs, to avoid their discomfort. You become an emotional hostage held captive by manufactured guilt and fear. True love elevates, this diminishes. True connection liberates, this imprisons. This is not affection, it is a transaction. Now, let's address the most painful aspect, the addiction to chaos. Toxic relationships often exist in a cycle of intense highs and devastating lows. The manipulator creates the crisis, then swoops in as the savior, creating an artificial sense of intimacy and dependence. This dopamine roller coaster can be chemically addictive, trapping you in a desperate pursuit of those fleeting good times that rarely last. This is a perversion of authenticity. True connection is built on consistent, calm respect, not manufactured drama. The chaotic cycle prevents genuine growth, forcing you to constantly react rather than truly live. You're always waiting for the next shoe to drop, always bracing for the storm. This endless cycle keeps you small, distracted, and prevents you from building a stable, authentic self. You become addicted to the drama, not the person. This is not passion, it's pathology. So, how do we begin the arduous journey of liberation? The first step, as always, is radical honesty. You must confront the truth, however ugly, however painful. Stop rationalizing, stop minimizing, stop making excuses. Name the toxicity for what it is, not for what you desperately wish it to be. This is an act of profound courage, a reclamation of your internal integrity. The growth philosopher demands you invoke Socratic self-knowledge. Know thyself. You must understand why you allowed these chains to be forged, what needs are being unmet that keep you trapped. Is it fear of loneliness? A deep-seated belief you don't deserve better? Only by understanding your vulnerabilities can you begin to fortify your spirit. This self-interrogation is brutal, but essential. It's the first ray of dawn after a long, dark night. You must see the prison to escape it. The next crucial step is the establishment of unshakable boundaries. This isn't about negotiation, it's about declaration. Your boundaries are not requests, they are non-negotiable standards for your own well-being. Begin small, but be utterly consistent. I will not tolerate shouting. I will not discuss this if my feelings are being denied. This requires courageous detachment. It means detaching your emotional well-being from their reaction. Their anger, their sadness, their attempts to manipulate are their responsibility, not yours. You are responsible for your peace. This is not cruelty. It is an act of radical self-preservation. It is the only way to reclaim your sovereign space. This is the line in the sand. You will no longer tolerate the intolerable. Crucially, you must build your support system. Toxic relationships thrive in isolation. They cut you off from friends, family, and anyone who might validate your reality. Reconnect. Seek out those who see you, who value your autonomy, who remind you of your worth. Share your truth, even if it's terrifying. This is an act of community building for the soul. Plato's ideal state emphasized shared values and collective well-being. In a personal context, this means surrounding yourself with individuals who embody healthy values and respect. Their perspective acts as a vital mirror, reflecting a reality undistorted by manipulation. You are not alone in this fight. This is your tribe. Let them lift you up. Finally, the ultimate goal, the cultivation of radical self-worth. A toxic relationship thrives on your self-doubt. To truly break free, you must rebuild your internal fortress of self-esteem. Invest in yourself, pursue passions, discover who you are without their reflection. This is a journey of rediscovery, of reclaiming the magnificent being you were meant to be. This is the essence of Aristotelian eudaimonia. Flourishing, living a life of virtue and excellence. It's not about external validation, but about intrinsic worth, about living in accordance with your highest self. Your worth is not earned through suffering or appeasement. It is inherent. It is fixed. This liberation isn't just about leaving. It's about finally arriving at the profound, unshakable truth of who you are. This is your new dawn, a life truly, authentically, gloriously your own. So, the final challenge. The cost of remaining in the invisible chains of a toxic relationship is nothing less than your soul. The reward of liberation is the rediscovery of your true, sovereign self. This journey is arduous, fraught with pain, and demands immense courage. The alternative is a slow, agonizing death of the spirit. Identify the chains. Name the toxicity. Build your boundaries, seek your tribe, and above all, reclaim your radical self-worth. This is the hard, necessary work of the growth philosopher. Your life is calling. Will you answer? What is one step you will take today towards reclaiming your sovereignty from a toxic tie? Share your commitment below. Let us grow together.